Rain clung to the slate roofs of Briarhelm Manor as the autumn evening settled into a violet hush. Within its ancient walls, Marquis Adrian Devereux stood before the hearth, the weight of lineage pressing on his shoulders like the stone turrets above. 3 years of widowhood had left the manor cold despite the blaze, and the silence of his young daughter Elara hollowed each corridor. Servants moved like ghosts, careful not to disturb the grief that had calcified into ritual. When the new cook arrived, late drenched and breathless, Adrian barely looked up. Clara Roselle was small, with auburn hair pinned beneath a modest kerchief and eyes the color of a dark forest after rain. She curtsied, voice trembling as she introduced herself. Something in her quiet dignity held his attention a heartbeat too long. He told himself it was gratitude. The old kitchen staff had fled to the city, and the manor was desperate for capable hands. That first night, as thunder rolled across the moors, Clara's bread filled the halls with a warmth Adrian had not known since his wife's passing. Elara, usually silent, crept from her room to follow the scent, peeking shyly at the woman kneading dough with patient strength. Clara smiled at the child without words, and in that simple exchange, the manor's stillness shifted. Adrian watched from the doorway, something awakening, a pulse he had buried beneath duty and mourning. He turned away, convincing himself it was only the comfort of a well-cooked meal, yet his heart betrayed him, beating louder than the storm outside. Weeks passed. The manor brightened, though no one dared speak of it. Clara's laughter, soft, rare but unmistakable, began to echo through the kitchens. Elara blossomed under her gentle care, her small voice returning in quiet stories told beside the ovens. Adrian found reasons to visit the kitchens, a question about the larder, a compliment for a stew. Each encounter stretched longer than propriety allowed. Their conversations grew from polite courtesies to shared confessions, his love for forgotten ballads, her memories of a childhood among vineyards in the Loire. One evening, returning late from council, Adrian found Clara in the moonlit garden, her face tilted skyward as if gathering strength from the stars. He stepped closer, and the scent of rosemary on her skin stole the breath from his chest. "You should not walk alone at night," he murmured. "And you, my lord, should not follow the help," she replied, voice barely a whisper. The words were a warning, yet her gaze lingered. Between them hung the truth neither dared name, the Marquis and his cook, bound by a magnetism both perilous and undeniable. When her fingers brushed his as she handed him a sprig of rosemary, a shiver passed through him like a vow. But the housekeeper's narrowed eyes, the gossipy maids, the rigid hierarchy of noble blood, all were watchful. Adrian knew the scandal a single rumor could bring. Still, when Clara's laugh slipped into his dreams, restraint felt like a cage of iron. Winter descended, cloaking the moors in silver. At the year's final masquerade, Briarhelm filled with nobles in velvet masks, their laughter sharp as crystal. Adrian hosted with dutiful charm, yet his eyes sought only one face. Clara had no invitation, yet he found her at the edge of the ballroom, pressed into service, carrying trays of mulled wine. Beneath the flicker of candlelight, she was radiant, the simple black of her servant's dress defying the jeweled gowns around her. When a drunken baron cornered her near the stairwell, Adrian intervened, his voice cutting like steel. He led her to the shadowed library, where the noise of the party dulled to a heartbeat. The air between them throbbed with all they had denied. "I can't keep this distance," he confessed. "Every moment without you is a wound." "My lord," she whispered, "I am no equal to your name. You are equal to my soul." Their lips met, slow at first, then with a hunger that erased rank, duty and fear. The kiss was a fire against the winter night, a promise and a peril entwined. Yet secrets have sharp ears. Behind the carved oak door, Lady Evelyn, Adrian's sister and keeper of the family honor, watched unseen. By dawn, the manor was alive with whispers, the Marquis in love with a cook. Allies threatened withdrawal, marriage contracts wavered. The ancient house trembled under scandal. Morning broke with frost glittering like shards of glass. Evelyn confronted her brother before the great hall's fire, her voice a blade. "End this folly or see Briarhelm crumble." Adrian stood unflinching. "Let it crumble. A house without love is already in ruins." He summoned the household, servants and nobles alike, and before their startled eyes declared Clara not as servant but as the woman he would wed. Gasps rippled, some spat curses, others wept. Clara trembled, fear and wonder battling in her gaze. "I am no lady," she whispered. "You are the heartbeat of this manor," he answered, taking her hand. Elara, small and resolute, stepped forward. "I want her to stay. She makes us a family again." Silence followed, heavy as the ancient stones. Then, like the breaking of a storm, Evelyn's voice softened. "If this is ruin," she said, "then let us build anew." The scandal echoed through distant courts, but love proved stronger than lineage. Briarhelm endured, transformed not by wealth or title but by a forbidden devotion that defied the weight of centuries. As winter's last snow melted into spring, Adrian and Clara stood together beneath the blooming hawthorn. The world might still whisper, but within those ancient walls their hearts beat as one, forever bound by the secret that had changed their lives, and by the courage to claim it in the light of day.